Hello there, how are you? Did you have a great weekend? And oh my gosh, you guys, we're in the retrograde. I don't know why I have to sing like when I'm announcing something or something, whatever. But anyway, okay, you guys, so last week on Friday, I think it was Friday or Saturday morning, I uploaded a video about, I just was on a complete tangent about my reality show going bust, not being in alignment, and that's totally fine. I forgive myself. I'm not perfect. Well, I am perfect, but I'm not perfect. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not apologizing for how I'm behaving, which brings me to my next video. Okay, because as I go through the weekends, like I'm pretty much a stay-at-home girl. I'm grinding shit out because I'm trying to build an empire here. I'm trying to build a business. I'm being an entrepreneur. I started with nothing. Literally, I started with nothing. So yes, I am having to build my own business, my own nonprofit, my own everything. Everything I'm having to do on my own. Like daddy ain't coming to rescue this girl, okay? And not that I want daddy to rescue me. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't want that. I want to be enthusiastic about the game. And something that came up over the weekend, and it's been coming up a little bit here and there throughout the couple of months that I've been living with my folks, like Jeffrey and I are living with our folks, because guess what? What our goal is to fucking get out of debt, okay? And this is the issue with so many people. Jeffrey and I go up to Publix one day, okay, when we first moved here. And we see somebody that we've known for many years or whatever, and it's like, how many times? Okay, so anyway, let me step back a little bit. Okay, so Jeffrey and I, he had his home for 20 plus years, right? So as we're trying to work, and Jeffrey and I have had this agreement, is that I don't mind being the breadwinner. I don't mind that. Actually, I kind of look forward to it. It's like something that entices me, makes me excited about life, and gets my juices flowing. Like, I love that idea of it. And not because I want him to be my bitch boy or anything like that, but because I have such a drive for this. This is one of the catalysts that was actually the ending one of these small bricks in my old marriage that made me want to leave the marriage. Because here's what happens, ladies, and I know you guys can relate to me. I have talked to so many women, even more frequently as, maybe I've gotten more of an attitude or something like that in the last couple of months. Because when I see women that are allowing themselves to be mistreated mentally, and I'm not saying that it's not your fault. Bitches, it's your fault. You need to, if you're in a marriage that you fucking hate your marriage, you hate life, how much more do you have to take to convince you to get out of a marriage? It's not fucking easy. I get it. I've went there. I've experienced it. You fucking are walking away sometimes with nothing. Daddy ain't coming to, I know I use daddy. I use daddy all the time. But it's like, how many women I see live in marriages or do it because of the children or do it because they don't want to make life hard for them. They don't want to have to live like bare minimum. Maybe you might need to sell your fucking house and get it rent an apartment. Maybe you might need to live in a fucking studio over somebody's garage that's a 1-bedroom studio apartment where all you and your 4 kids are living in one room because you don't want to struggle. You want your ex-husband to pay out the ass and you live high on the hog. It's just like that. I think that's why when I stopped watching Housewives, and not because I think I'm better or anything like that, but seeing these women complain about fucking shit like Shannon Bedore complaining about the fact that she's only going to be able to live on how much? $100,000 and she's going to get a payout from a marriage. Oh, I've been with him 20, however long it was, and I'm like, you have no fucking clue, woman. You are so freaking blinded by dumb shit that it's like you just expect to everybody just fork out shit. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not saying that you don't deserve it. And maybe that's probably part of my problem, is that me not wanting to have men having a leverage over me, is that why I walked in my old marriage without a dime, without a penny, because I'm not going to fucking owe no man, and you're not going to have any control over me and say, well, let me give you your allowance, and me have to hunt and struggle and every month and threaten and call an attorney. Bullshit. I'm not doing that shit. And it's like, when I see women do that, it irates me to no end. And I think it's because it's like, you don't believe in your own power. What in the fuck is wrong with women that have grown up in these insecure relationships and you still are doing it? You're still doing it. Why don't you just bend over and let them just brutalize you more? Because I can't handle women that I couldn't do it. Yeah, you can. You can. You just don't want to, because you don't want to struggle. You don't want to struggle. You know what? Here's the beauty of it. The struggle, that's where you find success. That's the beauty in the struggle, is that when you can look and go, you know what? I did this myself. I am strong. I am capable of doing this. I can make a living for me and my 7 kids. And I don't fucking need someone to give me money and to front me and make me look like I'm living the high life. I mean, I've seen women, girls that I grew up with in high school, and they 10 years down the road are still bitching and moaning about their ex-husband, because every month they gotta hound their ex-husband because he's using leverage over them, because you know what? You don't let me see my kid. You don't let me do this. It's like a freaking high school all over again. Like, I'm gonna make you be miserable and not let you have the baby, or the wives use the kids as, you know, a mechanism for if the husband cheated on him. The wife then uses the kids as leverage, like, I'm just gonna happen to be skiing in Colorado this weekend with the children, and daddy's not gonna say, or you bitches make it. And I'm not saying that I don't love you. I love you women so much. That's why I'm like, stop with the bullshit. Stop with the mind games. Figure out your shit and stop using everybody else as an excuse for why you can't get your shit together. You know what? But you're trying to spend all of your freaking time punishing your ex, or even for men, punishing the woman that's the mother of your children, because you're butthurt because either she left your ass, or you are wanting to punish your husband because now he's went off and found somebody cuter and better and hotter and 10 years younger, and you're pissed about it. So how else can you hurt him? Oh, well, I'm going to just use the children as leverage against him. You know what? That's the dumbest, stupid, that's going to bite you in the ass, women, just so you know. And I love you girls. That's why I love you so much that I'm ruthless when I say shit like this. And here's the other thing that I am so tired. Like I was saying, Jeffrey and I went in the weekend that we had moved back to Brooksville, right? And like I was saying, the reason that Jeffrey and I moved back to Brooksville is because we pay for everything cash. I'm not fucking owing anybody. So you can sit there and act like, oh, well, I have this, and on Instagram, and you're on Facebook, and you're on all this stuff. And social media is just a plain out, most of it's freaking dumb. It's shit. Because everybody's fronting a lifestyle that they don't really live. You're fucking, how many times have I had women on YouTube and different social media outlets come to me, and it's like, what are you doing? What are you doing? You're faking it all the way. You're not doing anybody any favors. You're not doing your kids any favors by staying in a marriage that you fucking hate. That you and your husband, or you and your wife sit there and bitch at each other all day long. I know, because I lived it. I fucking wasn't doing my kids any favors. You do your kids favors when you stop enabling them, making them live a fake life, because all you're doing is creating that momentum for them to keep doing it in their life. And then you wonder why we have kids that are entitled, have no clue, they're soft, because you gave them trophies, or just in the enablement, like, drives me fucking nuts. I mean, and so anyway, I want to talk about a couple of things. Success. I know I'm 10 minutes in it and I haven't even started. I want to talk about success and what that means, because it doesn't fucking mean what everybody thinks it does. The other thing is, I'm tired of people telling me, well, you have a nonprofit, so you shouldn't be using profanity. And how many, like every time I use the word bitch or something like that, people start unfollowing me or unfriending me. You know what? Good riddance to you, because I'm done fucking with you people. I'm done. I am so tired of appeasing everybody else just so mommy's happy. And I mean that metaphorically. I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it anymore. And anyway, so maybe that's what needed to happen for me, is for me to understand that, like, I'm not kissing ass. And this is just one more way for me to fill the gap in, is that I'm done pretending. I'm not pretending. You know, I try to like keep it PG, but like on my YouTube videos and stuff, I always put those are age restrictions on there. So if you're not 18, you can't see my videos anyway. And that doesn't mean that I'm like being fake or phony. What it means is I was raised freaking right, okay? Just because I cuss doesn't mean I'm not intelligent. Doesn't mean that I'm a bad example. If anything, I'm a better example than any of your little church friends, because guess what? All of them are fake and phony and hypocrites. But guess what? Little old Raquel ain't a fucking hypocrite. So if I use the F word, I'm not going to throw F-bombs when I'm teaching your daughters and your sons at my nonprofit organization the F-bomb. I'm not going to do it. I was raised right. I was raised better than that, okay? And so if you're going to sit there and judge me, I don't want your fucking attention anyway. I'm so tired of women being so freaking judgmental, sitting behind the screen, being judgmental. It's freaking annoying, and I'm over it. I'm fucking over it. So, like I said, let me go back. So Jeffrey and I wanted to sell our house. I want to live my dream. And so I told Jeffrey from the get-go, and he understands that. He's fully supporting me in that. Is that, you know what? It might take a fucking long time for me to get this shit going, but I'm going to do it. Mark my words, I'm going to do it. That's where the hustle is. Well, I shouldn't use the word hustle because I kind of hate that word. But it's like, that's where we're going to see who's successful and who's not. You know what I mean? Because it takes a lot of work. Anybody that has any kind of normal sense would give up by now. I've been doing YouTube videos for close to 7 years, okay? Hadn't made probably but a couple $100 on them. That's fine. I don't care about that. I'm not doing it for that. Half the time, none of my stuff is has advertising in it, because I'm not doing that for that. And that's fine if I'm going to sit really low on the subscriber thing and all that kind of stuff, because I'm trying to you know what I mean? I'm not just thinking one way to make money, because I know that if I put the effort in and I'm passionate about what I do, I'm passionate about writing my blog, I'm passionate about writing books. I have such a passion for it. Every day I'm driven to get up. I mean, at 3 a.m, I'm fucking, by the time you bitches are getting up at 9 o'clock, or I need to get my kids off to school. You know what I mean? I've fucking been up for 6 hours writing. And so people don't see that. People don't see the struggle. They don't see people working their asses off. And so the reason that I wanted to talk about success is because over the weekend, Jeffrey and I, we see people like that we've seen at the Publix grocery store, or, the grocery store or something, or we've seen people like driving these vehicles that are nice as hell. I mean, listen, I drive a Mercedes, but that car is like close to 13 years old, okay? I love my freaking car. I don't care if I was a multi-billionaire. I'd still drive that bitch till the wheels fell off, okay? I'd maintenance my shit. I don't have a car payment. I haven't had a car payment in 7 years, okay? So, yeah, I pay my shit off and I drive that bitch and maintain it. I don't fucking need a bunch of clothes. This is Walmart shit. I don't fucking care. I'm in it for the long haul. So when everybody else is like, all these women, oh, I'm getting my nails done. Oh, I'm doing this. Oh, I'm doing that. I'm shopping here and I'm shopping there. Go right ahead. Like, that's not what real success is. And the thing that bothers me is Jeffrey and I, like I said, Jeffrey and I were talking, and I said, yeah, but you know what? That person, I am not jealous of anybody. I don't care. I was saying, you know what? I don't care if it's Tom Brady and the Buchan wife or whatever shit. I wouldn't want anybody's life. Nobody's life but my own. I fucking love my life so much. And that's what success is, ladies. That is what success is. It's for you to fucking love your life, not nobody's business. But the reason that everybody goes on social media is because they want to forget. They want to pretend that their life is something that it isn't. And why do you want to do that? Because you spend ridiculous amounts of time watching social media and watching people's this and watching people's that, because you want to lose what you want to get caught up in their life because you can't stand yours. And that's the problem with society today, is that I would love to see a reality show, but nobody fucking wants to watch that. And I get it. That's fine. But we need to change that mentality of women wanting to watch other women on these housewife shows because they want to escape. Because those bitches' lives, I wouldn't fucking want none of those bitches' wives. I wouldn't want Drew Barrymore's life. I wouldn't want Cameron Diaz's life. I wouldn't want anybody. I don't know why I picked Cameron Diaz. I've never been a fan of hers, really. I mean, she's probably a sweet gal, but have never really watched any. The point is, I wouldn't want anybody's life. But everybody is wanting to escape, thinking that that's where you find happiness. Success in life is being happy. Did you know that? Like, success is fucking being happy with your own life. It's not being rich. It's not having this or having that or driving this or having that fucking house that you can't fucking afford. That you're working 4 fucking jobs because you need to, and I know this because this is the mentality that I was under in my old marriage, okay? Is that we didn't fucking live the way that I wanted to. No, living in a little old house that we rented and it was fucking cheap as hell, and me homeschooling my kids, the things that I wanted to do. No, we had to fucking live in the, $500,000, $1 million house. We had to live in the best neighborhood. We had to drive the certain vehicles. We had to go to certain restaurants. We had to schmooze with certain people, and it's fucking fake. It was fake. And all for what? Because you want to prove something? You need to impress your fucking friends? I'm not doing that. And that's the thing, is like, I'm so happy. And I don't know, I think it stems from me being like, realizing the reason that I have like such not anger, but like irritation, like I get wound up, is because I still see this so predominantly. And maybe that's the battle that I work on within myself, is that trying to figure out that, like, it's still okay, Raquel. Like, you can scream all day long, Raquel, but people aren't going to listen to you. They have to experience it for themselves, But if I could just spend one moment to say, like, maybe somebody slips upon this, or maybe slips upon my blog post or something, and reads it and like, oh yeah, okay, that's food for thought. You know what I mean? If that's all it is in this world, and I was telling my mom that yesterday actually, is that I'm cool with that, and you're not going to learn anything from my experiences, but I guess I just want to feel like that the experiences that I have had mean something. At least to me, they mean something, because I know when I was even young, really young, and I always said I want to experience a lot of things, even if it's really hard vicissitudes in life, because if I can help other women, because I've always had that knowing in my soul and my gut, how like certain things intuitively, I have always known that there's some kind of message or something that I was made for. And I don't know what that is. I'm still filtering through that and trying to figure that out, but like understanding that success is not about money. Like, there's a lot of people wealthy, you guys. There's a lot of people that are really wealthy. My family included, like my external family and everything, like I look at them and that's the conditioning that I grew up with. And it was no fault of anybody's. I'm not blaming my parents. My parents did a dope ass job on raising me and my brothers. Like, if anything, me and my brothers, I raised my kids as much as I possibly could, being directly influential in my own children's lives, to try and teach them that you're going to work your ass off. Nobody's fucking handing you over anything. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not giving you a car just because you're 16 and you deserve it. No, you're going to fucking bust your ass and you're going to earn it and you're going to do it. Because guess what? How many times I've seen my friends and my family and stuff like that, like they give shit to their kids just because they're 16. They give them shit. You create an entitled little asshole. And that goes for the girls included. No, I'm not giving you anything. And this is a prime example that about success and like self-awareness, self-sufficiency. These are things that I teach in the nonprofit, is that kids need to learn. And you can't teach them until I get to the women, right? I have to get to these mothers that are having this influence on their children because you have to change you, ladies, before you can start influencing your children. So if you're fucked up, just like me, you know, thinking like I was in a marriage or whatever, I couldn't fucking teach my kids everything that I needed to until I realized, get your shit together, Raquel. Get your shit together or you can't teach this stuff. You know what I'm saying? You have to practice what you preach. And so, even though my kids, like, this is one thing that I'm going to talk about success, okay? Like, me and my mom were talking about this. And I was telling her, even though my son Sawyer, you know, because Sawyer was my child that he had a harder time because he was more of a freedom seeking person. And, you know, there was some, you know, tough love that I gave him. And that's what I call it, tough love. I don't know. Maybe some people think that I'm cruel and mean and heartless. And at the time, you know, my son Sawyer thought I was a little bit mean and heartless. So here's the one story that I'm going to talk about, and this should be paramount for mothers. So listen up. No, I'm just kidding. So Sawyer was going through, and I kind of went and touched on this a little bit on my blog. Sawyer was going through a really hard time. This is right before, you know, I had been in the marriage, I don't know, close to 20 years probably, right? At this time. And this was back in 2009 is when I had my emotional affair with my ex-husband's best friend at the time, okay? And I say emotional affair like, you know, yeah, I made out with him and everything, but I never like slept with him. Not that that means anything. It's all the fucking same. You're doing it, whatever. It's like, whatever. That's not the point of this topic. But I was at the point, like, I had left my ex-husband and moved in with my girlfriend, and I was living there for like 6 months total. And we lived in the same housing development. So I would live at her house basically. And then every morning I would get up at 4 o'clock so that I could drive to my house, which was across the street and down the road a little bit. I mean, it was real close, but I would get up and go so I could take my kids to seminary, because at the time I was a real religious person, right? So that was at the time I had wanted to get out of the marriage. So that was around 2009. So, after all that happened and everything, you know, Sawyer at the time was giving us a lot of trouble. He was, you know, I mean, mind you, I don't care. He wasn't really doing anything horrific, okay? He really wasn't when you look at it. If parents wouldn't have been so strict on him, he wouldn't have rebelled as much. But that's the reason that kids rebel. First of all, because you've given them, you've enabled them. Parents enable their kids way too much. So when I say that I didn't enable my son, and even after him being dead, I don't regret anything that I ever did, because my son, all my kids have turned out to be badass human beings. They're self-sufficient, self-aware. They're not entitled. They fucking earn their keep. They all live in their own. They all pay their own fucking bills. They live their own lives. And that is due highly to me as their mama, because I homeschooled them. I raised them right. I fucking raised them with morals, integrity, confidence, their self-awareness, all these things that parents need to, no, if you fucking didn't do good and you hated baseball, you're not fucking getting a trophy and taking it home. No, you're not getting the 17th trophy because all children are equal. No, they're not fucking equal. Some suck, some are really good. So I'm not entitling my kids. I never have. So Sawyer was at this stage. This was his fourth school he had been kicked out of, right? So I started realizing that this kid is not gonna fucking learn normally, okay? We need to have an educational revolution because fucking creative kids, artistic kids, fucking hate school. I hated school with a passion, but I'm successful. My brothers fucking hated school. Highly successful. People equate, well, you got to go to college and you got to do this and you got to do it the way that the book says. And that's not true, you know? That's why most kids rebel so much. So anyway, I'm thinking this is the fourth school. They wanted to put him because now he was starting to get in, like he was smoking pot and everything, which is not a big deal really if it was legal, okay? But it wasn't legal in Florida when we lived here. So, I mean, it's still partially not legal. Anyway, the whole point is that you can't do it. You know what I'm saying? And so he was starting to get into a little bit of trouble, whatever. And so I finally told him, like, because I was homeschooling him. So I took him out of school because they wanted to put him in alternative school. I didn't want to put him in alternative school because I thought, you know what? I'm not leaving my kid up to the system. He's going to turn out to be like, I didn't know what he would turn out to be like. But that was my cue that I was like, as a mother, because I'm a stay-at-home mom, I wanted to homeschool my kids. I was already homeschooling Carter. He was doing exceptionally better. And so Sawyer was the next one down. And I thought, you know, if you highlight the things that make a kid want to learn, they will fucking learn like nobody's business because most creative souls are highly creative and that's why school bores the fuck out of them, okay? And so I thought, okay, I'm not gonna leave him up to the system. I'm not gonna do it. I'm fucking gonna take this kid out and I'm gonna buckle up, bitches, and I'm gonna fucking do this. Did I have a lot of sleep? No. Was I having to write curriculums? Was I having to grade papers? Was I having to do that? And had 3 other kids, okay? And had to take them to seminary and put them in sports and scouts and all this kind of shit. Okay, so I was like, no, I'm not gonna sit there and, oh, poor woe is me, Raquel, can't do it. No, I was fucking gonna do it. If I didn't have to sleep, 2 kids in the car, you're sleeping, getting dressed, eating on the way to school because I have to drop one off, then that's what we're fucking doing. I don't care how hard it is. I'm gonna freaking do it, you know? So Sawyer was still giving me trouble. Well, he was doing better in school because I made him start all over. I pulled him out of the school system, which everybody, all the school system was like, you can't do that. You shouldn't do that. Da, 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 da. I mean, they were really giving me a hard time. And I was just like, I don't care. I'm doing this, you know? So Sawyer was starting to do a ton better, right? He was doing a ton better. But he did not want to follow the rules because he wanted to hang out with his friends. He didn't want to be at the house, which was understandable. We lived in a little apartment and he didn't want to live there. He didn't want to be there a lot of times. You know how kids are. But he was already in trouble with the law because he had done some shoplifting here and there and got caught with some pot and was partying where he shouldn't have. And so he got in trouble. Well, part of the trouble was that, or the consequences of that was that he wasn't on probation or anything like that, but it's like he didn't wear one of those things on his leg or anything like that. But he was, they put him on like on a curfew. So he couldn't go anywhere. He had to be in the house at like 6 every night. Well, I was homeschooling him. So during the day, I made him stay at the house because he had to get his Boy Scout. He had to get his Eagle because he was almost on the verge. And that just was becoming a problem, you know. And then the ex, I mean, it was a very volatile situation as far as like screaming matches. He was dating a girl that was like, you know, I mean, she had her own family problems and things like that. And I'm not blaming, I'm just saying that this was the dynamics of everything. And so understandably, Sawyer was doing things and I said, you know, and so one of my stipulations was that I'm going to drug test you, you know, because as long as you're living in my house, You can't fucking be doing drugs. You just can't, because it's against the law, and I didn't want it to infringe on the other kids. Like, I mean, this is partly my responsibility as a parent. You know what I'm saying? Like, no, I'm not gonna, if you're gonna do that, you're gonna suffer the consequences. And I'm gonna give you, yes, I'm gonna give you a chance to get your shit straight, right? So I told him. So they, you know, the community or the system or whatever, I don't know what it's called, but like the juvenile system where they said, we might come and drug test you anytime. You never know, blah, 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 whatever. And I said, okay, that's fine and dandy, but I'm not leaving it up to the city or to the community to take care of my fucking kid. I said, I'm also going to drug test your ass. And so I went to the store and spent $150 worth of drug tests. So anytime I wanted to do that, if he was giving me a fucking attitude, I said, your ass is out. I'm kicking your ass out into the world, and you're going to figure this shit out. Okay? So when this happens, parents, and you got a kid that's on drugs, you got a kid that's doing meth, you got a fucking kid that's losing their shit, okay? Is that not even working? What I was saying is, you've got a kid that is rebellious. You can't be soft on him, even though you love him, and that's why you love him. You can't be fucking soft on him. And so what happened was, a couple weeks are going by. Sawyer's, he's making straight A's, honors, when I'm teaching him, because I did the whole, like, Sawyer, I created a curriculum around Eminem, Marshall Mathers. So when he would learn about history, guess what he was learning about? Marshall Mathers' life as a child, and we were going into psychology and shit and understanding about this kid and where he came from. And anything there was, we were going to the fucking library because it's free, and we were checking out books and doing shit. But guess what? That kid loved it, because when I said, oh, let's do some handwriting, or let's do some poetry, or let's do some writing, he was writing songs because he loved to rap. So I thought, okay, dictionaries, this, that, do what your heroes did. And everybody says that Marshall Mathers is known to like have a dictionary everywhere. Like he's very inside, loves a dictionary. And so that's what you do. You sort of replicate your heroes. And so he was making straight A's, honors, okay? But he was also rebelling at the time. So I told him, if I drug test you one fucking time and you fail it, your ass is out on the street. And I meant it. And that's the thing, is parents say shit all day long. They're like a little chihuahua, bark, 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 but your bite ain't nothing. You have to prove that you mean something when you say it. And that comes in with you having self-love and self-respect and confidence that, you know what? I love you. In spite of you, I love you, you little bastard. You know what I mean? Like, you have to know yourself enough to know that those kids can't make you cave, because they will use every tactic to get to your heart because you're the mama, okay? So Sawyer comes in one day, and I can't remember the exact details, okay? But I said, his eyes looked weird. He was acting a little shady. And so I knew the signs, obviously. But I said, I'm drug testing you. Well, he went ballistic. So I knew right there I was going to test him and he was going to fail it. So we got in a heated argument, whatever. He dog cussed me. And it was not pretty, you guys. It was not pretty. And when he did that, because I'm raised in the South, I lost my ever-living mind. And yes, now look, you're talking about a 19-year-old kid or 18-year-old kid that is taller than me, and he's a man, okay? So I'm tiny, little old 5 foot me, you know what I'm saying? And so, yeah, I held him up against the chest and pinned him up against the door and said, you won't never talk to me like that. And it wasn't pretty, you guys. It was not pretty. There wasn't beating and all that shit. No, I didn't do that, but I did threaten him and put, get in his face with my finger and stuff. You don't never talk to your mama like that. I'll throw you down and you won't have no front teeth, because that's just how that's how I was raised anyway. Don't disrespect no Southern woman. But anyway, so he got mad, screamed bloody murder at me, called me every name in the book, and said I was a worthless, this, that, whatever. It's not important. So he left. And guess what Mama did? I went to his bedroom and got 4 garbage bags, the lawn garbage bags, the big ass ones that you do your lawn work with. And I put every single thing that child owned in there. Now, at the time, he didn't have a car. He didn't even have a driver's license. He had a cell phone that somebody had given him. I don't know if it was my ex that gave it to him, but it was a real old one. It didn't even have a cell phone service. He would have to go and there was a free app or something that he could get. He figured it out. I don't know what it was. But what I'm saying is, when I say that this child had nothing, I mean I stripped his ass down to nothing. So the only thing that was left in his bedroom was the mattress and the bed frame. And his brother shared the bedroom with him. The boys shared the bedroom with him. So Brooker was the one that was sharing, because at the time Carter was gone on his mission. No, was he? I can't remember. Anyway, I took everything that Sawyer owned and put it in those garbage bags and took it straight down, put it in my trunk of my car, and took it down to the Goodwill and donated it. Now listen, you guys, Sawyer was the kind of kid that loved some fashion. Forever and a day, he loved fashions. He had kicks. He had brand new shoes, slides. Gorgeous, beautiful pieces of stuff he would spend money on. And watches and all kinds of stuff, video game. Everything I took and donated it. So what do you think happened when he came back? Well, he came back thinking that was just an argument or whatever. And I said, no. You got a backpack, so I left him with his backpack because he didn't have anything. He didn't even have shoes on when he left the house that day. I don't know if he had slides in his friend's car or something, but he didn't have anything but shorts and a t-shirt on. So I was that nice, at least. I left him with the backpack. Now, it didn't have anything in it. So I kicked his ass out. He didn't have anywhere to go, you guys. No granny to call up. Let me couch surf on your couch, nothing. So for 2.5 weeks, he didn't have do you understand that? Was that hard? Yeah. But if I didn't do that, he could have been a meth addict in a fucking ditch somewhere dying. I wasn't going to give my kids any leeway. There is no excuse. When you say, oh, well, they're going to be homeless. Yep, guess what? You can live off the land. He was a Boy Scout. He was an Eagle. So he knew how to live off the land. So I wasn't worried. The boy knew how to put sticks together and tie ropes and shit, and he could build a house in the fucking woods. So that was always, I said, you got feet, you got legs, you can move, you can walk. And so anyway, yes, he did. He was he was devastated that I kicked him out, but he was also a badass too. He wasn't going to cry about it. He was just pissed. And so later on, this was 2.5 weeks to 3 weeks later, we were moving to California. And the ex asked me, he talked to me, he said, we need to have a family meeting or whatever, because I guess Sawyer had ended up calling his dad and said, I want to come home, please, I will change, I will do this or whatever. Because for 2.5 to 3 weeks, come to find out, Sawyer, I said, I don't care, he'll figure it out. I love that child, but I love him this much to straighten his ass out, because either this is going to make him or break him, right? Because the path that he was going down, I felt like if I didn't do something dramatic, he was going to end up dead anyway. So why would you want your child to end up being like, yeah, they're living for 10 years, but they've been in and out of rehab, or they've been, turned to prostitution because now they're a meth addict. Is that a better life? I would rather see and I told him that. And I know that's horrible and it sounds really, really way out there, but I told him that. I said, I'd rather see you 6 foot under than to see you throw your fucking life away. I'm not going to contribute to that. I'm not doing it. So I said, you know what? This will make or break you as a man. So he was about to turn 19 anyway. And I said, you know what? I would have been out of my ass when I was 18. My parents was like, you get a job at 15 when you can, by law. And then you're out on your ass. You figure out how to live. 18, I'm done. And so I was raised that way. And that was the same thing. So he was kicked out. So come to find out, we ended up letting him come back after that 2.5, 3 weeks. And I talked to Sawyer later on, and Sawyer at the time, he was pissed at me. But later on, he even would say to that day, even up until he died, he was like, Mama, that was the best thing you ever did for me. I was mad at you, but I understand why you did it. Because that made me, he's like, it made me change. It made me see things for how life really was. And like I said, come to find out, he ended up sleeping on a park bench and just finding like steps of a church. He said that was the place that they would keep a light on. There was a couple of churches in that town. And he said, I would just walk probably like, 10, 20, 30 miles days. I mean, he was walking miles and miles and miles because there wasn't anything else to do. You can't loiter around places. He would find a McDonald's and he would, I don't know how he would get money. I honestly don't know. Maybe he borrowed it from friends or something, but he would buy a drink like at McDonald's. And if you just kept it there and you kept refilling it, you could stay there, and he would use whatever it was, how you could get Wi-Fi and use those free apps or something is what he told me. And then at night, his friend had given him a blanket so he'd keep it in that little backpack, and he would sleep on the steps of churches and stuff because they would keep lights on. And he said, I felt safe there, that nobody was going to like jump me or anything. And so even a couple of cops came by and was wondering, like, what are you doing here? Why are you out at this church and sleeping on steps, And so he said he learned a lot then. And he would just walk everywhere. And he said it was very, and even up until he passed, Sawyer was a big walker. He liked to walk because he said he always felt like you find yourself when you walk. And I believe that because I love to walk too. And maybe that's where you discover things, you think, and you're active and you're in nature, whatever. I don't know, but it's very healing. And so Sawyer straightened his life up after that. He ended up living on his own. He was the first child that got out on his own. Well, I mean, Carter was now at this point, he was on his mission and stuff. So, Carter had saved up for his mission, for his own. He worked and stuff and saved all that money so he could pay for his mission. And Sawyer couch surfed. Like anytime Sawyer ever asked me for money, and even when I had it, I'm like, baby, I'm not giving you money. I'm not doing that for you. I'm not doing for you what you can do for yourself because you feel like, oh, nobody's ever helped me or whatever. And he used to feel like that a lot. And he's like, why don't you ever help me, And I'm like, because I'm helping you now. And that's why when Sawyer died, I mean, and he was only a real young kid, and he influenced thousands of people. And I know this is why, because he was such a freaking good kid, like a beautiful soul, just a wonderful human being, like just extraordinary. And so I know that if I can talk about this, and I've even now will say that I hold by that and stand by that, and I've lost my child to being murdered, that you parents can do it too. You are giving them the biggest gift in their lives when you stop enabling your kids, stop paying for their cell phone, stop cooking their meals. And that doesn't mean you don't love them. When you feel guilty or you feel like you need your own needs met because you need to feel needed, in order to do that, you're getting it from enabling your grandkids or your kids or your nephews or your whoever it is, kids that you've taken in or whatever, and you're not even blood related to them. Stop doing that shit for them because they're going to end up resenting you, and you're only hindering their growth. They're not going to get it for a long ass time. And then if they ever do, they're going to be sitting 80 years old in a retirement home or some kind of nursing home and hating their fucking life because they never accomplished their dreams and goals because grandma or aunt so-and-so or your mama enabled you. And that's why. And you fucking resent them because of it. Don't do that for your kids. Why are parents doing this shit? And then parents are fucking sitting there acting like, well, these millennials, you know what? You dumbass. I'm not going to say that because I don't stand in that group. I don't say you dumbass millennials. You know why? Because I fucking raised millennials and my kids aren't like that. My kids are the millennials and my fucking kids are freaking cool as hell, independent, and earn their own keep. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying that people don't give them things or maybe the ex does whatever he does. I don't know. But like, when even me having the money, my kids don't fucking call me up and ask me for shit like that. And I wouldn't give it to them anyway. And guess what? It's not because I don't have it. It's because I'm not fucking doing that for them. They can do it for themselves because guess what? At the end of the day, they're going to come back and love their mama because they really love me and want to spend time with me because they know what? You know what? They know I love them genuinely from an unconditional state. I don't love them because they don't love me because I buy them shit. They don't love me because I take them on trips. They don't love me because I do things for them. No, they love me because I'm their mama. That's why. So anyway, that's my little preaching moment for the day. The other thing that I want to talk about is cursing, okay? I am sick to hear of people and women, most particularly, acting like they like me, but saying on the turn side of that or the flip side, well, you know, you really shouldn't use inappropriate language. Oh, I don't know if you should have a nonprofit like that and use that kind of language. Listen, my mama raised me right, okay? Just because I use the F word or trying to make a point with a curse word doesn't mean I'm stupid, doesn't mean I'm not smart, doesn't mean I'm not successful, doesn't mean that I'm a bad influence. And I'm tired of people saying that. I'm just saying it because this is the way I am. I'm real. I'm not going to pretend for you or no one else. I'm done with that pretending. I don't do fake. And so that's the thing. If you don't like that I'm making you uncomfortable because I use the F-bomb or bitch, I mean it in an endearing way. I don't mean like F you, I hate you. I mean F you like get your shit together. Get your shit together. You know what I'm saying? And if you think otherwise, then you don't know me. Then you don't know me at all. And I'm just here to break down the barrier of people pretending. I'm not going to pretend for you. I'm not going to act like I'm little misappropriate and I wear granny-dom clothes, but I'm just the because I am, you know what I'm saying? I meditate. I'm more godlike than most people that I know. And does that sound like I'm raving about it? Yeah, because I'm confident in that. I'm confident in the fact that I'm a freaking gorgeous human being. Like, I freaking adore myself. I think I'm fabulous. And that's what I want other women to do, and realizing that if you throw the F-bomb around, that doesn't mean you're a bad person. I'm tired of people equating, oh, she cusses, and oh, she's a little bit harsh, or she's too edgy for me because she uses the F-bomb. I'm doing it for trying to get some attention here. Like attention and get your attention. And you know what? I'm not right for everybody, and that's cool. And I want you to actually unfollow me and unfriend me and don't have anything to do with me because you know what? You're probably fake. You're probably pretending all day long on Instagram. That that's not even really your name. That's not even really your name, bitch. I mean, really? Really? And you think people will fall for this because you got a lot of numbers and this is what it tells me is that the world is more full of people that are fucking fake as hell. And they're getting on the train to let's all follow this person because she's all this goody two shoes, whatever. How do you even fucking know that's her name? Or that that's what she does. Or that she didn't spend 3 days curating this picture for fucking Instagram and she don't even live like that. I think the thing is that it irritates me is that the platform that I love the most is like completely inauthentic. when it was supposed to be something glorious and beautiful, and then dumb fucks go and mess it up, you know? And I guess that's the beauty of the nature of the game, right? I mean, things evolve, things change, and at the end of the day, because I love that at the end of the day, I told Jeffrey yesterday, I said, I'm putting that on a shirt. I love a freaking tagline shirt. I don't know what it is, but I love a shirt that has words on it. And I said, at the end of the day, I don't know why, but at the end of the freaking day, because I say that all the time, is that that's the beauty of it, because like my mama always said, the cream rises to the top. So you know what? Everybody might be playing that game, Raquel, but at the end of the day, the cream always rises to the top. And y'all know what that means if you're Southern. The authentic shit comes to the top. I'm going to come out on top. And so I might be down here in the bottom, and that's okay. Because guess what? I'm learning to love this shit. I'm learning to love it because I'm learning so much, like, about myself in general. Like, and we're all selfish. We're all wanting things for ourselves or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like, when people act like they're so selfless and everything, it's like, no, at the end of the day, you really are selfish, and you'll come to learn that at some point in your life through experience, you know? So I touched on success. I touched on the fact that what success really is. I touched on the fact that parents are enabling their kids and not, you know, they're teaching them to be soft. They're teaching them to be codependent. They're teaching them to have no self-awareness. They're teaching them not to be self-sufficient. Like, that is my biggest thing, is like, the reason that I started my nonprofit is that how can we teach kids, like I taught my kids homeschooling them, is that you got to find what a fucking kid loves and take that and run with it. I mean, run with it. If your kid loves to skateboard, why don't you create a curriculum all around Tony Hawk? Is that his name, Tony Hawk? I mean, everything that kid does, eats, breathes, and lives, make it be about their heroes. If your fucking kid loves to rap and she's a girl in the middle of the country in Alabama, Dothan, Alabama, then why don't you teach her, hey, she likes to rap. Let her, who's her hero? Fuck it. Then you run with that shit. Like, how many kids I know, like, little homeschool kids love that primitive life. Like, they love living on a farm. And so that's what I'm going to start doing. I think I'm going to start having little classes. You know what? If I can't have my forever property right now because my husband and I are fucking paying cash for it, I'm not fucking having, no bank's going to own. And if I have to stay at my parents and my parents are cool with this, you know what? I'm living as cheaply as I can. We don't fucking have debt. We don't have debt. And so Jeffrey and I, we might not have a lot of flashy shit, and we don't have our big forever property, but guess what, motherfuckers? We will have it, and it's going to be fucking paid for, and we're not getting into debt again. If we have to live low maintenance as hell and working it and grinding it out, that's what we're fucking doing, because we're going to live happy. We're going to love what we do, and when you love what you do, it ain't like you're struck with poverty or your mind, because poverty is in your mind. If you can train your mind to focus on the fact that you're happy, because that's what success is. Success is not having money. Success is not having kids that are going to Harvard and all these schools. You see prime example of what Lori Loughlin, what that happened. No, it ain't always what you think it is. And so the sooner you understand that and loving your own life, stop fucking loving everybody else's life. Stop promoting everybody else's shit. Promote your own shit, women. I'm talking about the women that are entrepreneurs and want to be like, have you noticed that we don't have any women, hardly any women that are motivational speakers, that are not even just motivational speakers, but transformational speakers? Why are we filled with the world that's all men? Have you noticed this shit? I'm done with that. If it takes me a lifetime, and I will love the game from here on out, and it takes me till I'm on my dying fucking bed, my deathbed, then so be it, because I want more women to promote themselves. Stop promoting Kim Kardashian shit. And what's the other daughter's name? Kylie or whatever. She's a billionaire. And that's wonderful. This has nothing to do with like their products and how they're selling because they're killing it, right? They're women, they're entrepreneurs. But if you want to be a success in life, ladies, you've got to start promoting yourself, promoting your own shit. Stop promoting everybody else. Start promoting your shit. And so that's another thing that I'm learning is that I don't have time to fucking DM people that's like, hey, thank you so much. Would you review my book? No, I'm not fucking doing that. I'm not fucking doing it. I don't fucking care if you have 5 New York Times bestsellers. I'm fucking gonna be the next one that has a New York Times bestseller. I'm not promoting your fucking shit. And it doesn't mean I don't love these women. It doesn't mean I don't think they're fucking fabulous or I even read their books, right? But I'm not fucking doing it for them. And that sounds terrible. No, actually, it doesn't sound terrible. It sounds very, very independent and very confident because that's, ladies, what we need to do. You can't love yourself and get your provide a beautiful opportunity for you. You know, say there's women here that are watching this video that want to get out of a crappy marriage, or you have teenage kids that are like freaking sucking you dry because they're always wanting money from you. Or they're, you know, mama do this, daddy do this. Oh my gosh, I don't have my cell phone bill. Oh my gosh, I want to go here and do this and I want to drive there and whatever. It's like, you know what? If you're paying their insurance on their car, you're already doing fucking something wrong. Stop paying their insurance. Tell them they got 2 weeks and you better get your shit together or you're out on the fucking street and you ain't living in my house no more. I'm done doing that shit. I mean, you're gonna have to figure out how to be confident in yourself and the decisions that you make, ladies. You've got to stand by it. You have to be strong-willed and strong-minded, and you can't let people diddle-daddle you around and pussyfoot with your kids and their emotions. They're gonna hate me. No, they're fucking not. And if they do, you know what? You'll learn something from that experience in the long run down the end of the way. But you know what? You've got to love yourself more than you love your fucking kids, okay? I love my kids freaking, I would bleed on the side of the road for them, okay? But I love mama better than I love my kids. And you can think all day long, that's brutal. Oh, I'm not like that. I'm not like that, Raquel. How could you say that as a mother? You know why? Because I've experienced it. And you know what? I can even say that because I had my child was murdered. And my other 3 kids were dickheads for a while because they wouldn't have anything to do with me because daddy convinced them that mommy was a piece of shit. But guess what? I still have to wake up every day and love myself because you know what? Your kids ain't getting you nowhere. Having them love you, yes, but they're not going to respect you. Is that what you want, for your kids to walk all over you and talk to you like a fucking dog? And you think that's love? You think because they come to your house and you cook a big old home-cooked meal for them that they love you? I'm not saying they don't love you. But guess what? If you're doing shit for them and that's the only reason they're fucking coming around because you're pulling out your wallet for them, then fuck no. That ain't real love. Feeling guilt for your kids, that ain't real love. That feels like shit inside of me. And I know my inner being my mermaid inner being is saying, you know what? Not feeling very good. Don't like that feeling too much. What is it? That's what it is, girls. Because you know what? You're not being true to yourself. You're trying to equate your acceptance. You want your kids to like you. Let's be honest. You want the kids to love you because you're mommy. I get it. I get it. And I'm not a ruthless bitch for that. And you can think that all day long, you know? I mean, because there's a lot of people that are going to think that. And I get it. But guess what? I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck what people think about me. I'm going to live my truth. And that is my truth. And listen, that's all I got to fucking say.